What is going on, guys? Firstly, welcome to Norway. We have just arrived in Lofoten, which is 100 miles from the Arctic Circle. I have to say it's absolutely freezing, so I'm sorry if my speech is a little bit slurred. Today we are going to review the A7S III for MPB. Now, as you guys know, this camera's been out for a couple of years now. It is a little bit old, but sometimes it's not about the camera, it's where it can take you. My name is Harrison Brown and I'm a videographer and photographer living in Scotland. Joining me on this trip around Norway are Josh, Jacob and Gregor, who are professional videographers and photographers producing some phenomenal work and helping me film this project for MPB with Sony A7S III. Together, we are going to put this camera to the test and show you what it's capable of. So this camera is actually Sony's dedicated film camera for the A7 lineup. It has a 12 megapixel sensor and shoots, of course, in native 4K. As well as this actually shoots in 4K 120, which basically means it's slow motion, very, very slow motion. And actually, personally, as a videographer, I love to use this. I love highlighting little details. For example, the waves crashing on the black sand behind us. Those tiny little slow motion shots really add so much to a sequence. Now, there's actually something that I really want to talk about. This camera, it actually has a little trick up its sleeve. We've been messing around with it over the last couple of days in Norway, but I want to save that until the end. Next up, we're going to be talking a little bit about photos, and what better place to do it than up the most iconic hill in Senja. Now, although this camera is predominantly a video camera, it is very capable when it comes to photos. Let's not lie here, in the age of social media, when everyone's on social media, you rarely need more than 12 megapixels, which is, unsurprisingly, what this camera has. From the top of the sea cliffs, we could see a snowstorm starting to roll in, and this forced us to head down the mountain a little early. Conditions here can change in minutes, and we didn't want to get stuck in a blizzard, even if the footage would have been pretty incredible. After almost an hour of trying not to fall over, we made it safely back to the cars, but we could have easily been in a bad situation had we left it a little later. All our gear was absolutely soaked, but luckily, the weather sealing on all our cameras kept them working perfectly. Now, it goes without saying that as a videographer and photographer, you need to pack light. That is an essential piece of knowledge that I've learned over the years. And this Sony A7S III is extremely light, especially in comparison to its bigger brother, the FX6, which actually has very similar video specs, the same sensor, and very similar image specs. Remember that trick the camera had up its sleeve? Well, we finally had the chance to test it out. Check this out. That is us just back in from the Northern Lights. We managed to get an incredible display. We got a brief sort of clear patch in the sky, and now it's clouded over, so we came back inside and lit a fire. And we're going to talk about the standout feature of this Sony A7S III. For me, I've often struggled with low-light videography, low-light photography. I think that a lot of cameras nowadays can shoot 120 4K, 60 4K, 24 frames 4K. It's kind of a basic feature amongst cameras now. All cameras are pretty incredible, but the standout feature on this camera has to be the low-light functionality. Basically, the way that this works, the way that the low light functionality works on this camera is that it has dual-based ISO, the second stop of which kicks in at 12,800. So anything filmed at this ISO or above will be substantially cleaner than other cameras. Now, believe it or not, we're actually filming in the dark for a reason today, and that's to showcase the low light functionality of this camera. It's actually shooting in 12,800 ISO at the moment, and look at how clean the footage is. This camera, over the last 2 weeks in particular in Norway, has helped me so much. It's helped me be so much more creative with my shooting, and the rest of the team that are shooting with me as well. For example, we were out shooting the Northern Lights, as you guys know I said at the start. And what I normally do is take photos, or I do a time lapse, because I need it to be bright footage. You don't want noisy video. But with this camera, we managed to shoot some incredible videos with its low light functionality. It is no secret that technology moves really, really fast. Every couple of months, there's a new camera coming out with a new technology. They are flooding the market with this kind of stuff. But every once in a while, there's a pinnacle product, a pinnacle release with incredible technology that's ahead of its time. And that's where this camera comes in. After almost 3 years, it is still one of the best video cameras on the market. And on that note, it brings us to the end of this video, and the end of our time in Norway, as well as the end of our time with this camera. I have to say, a couple of the boys here, their heads have been turned. I want to thank MPB for lending us this camera, for making this such a memorable experience, and allowing us to capture Norway the way that we see it, instead of a little bit grainy like most other cameras. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit that subscribe button. Our Instagrams will be in the link below if you want to view any low light photos, low light videos, and I'll see you soon.